and I'll have a go without notes, right? I've been going through them down there. During the Second World War, you all know Pearl Harbor was 1941, right? And then 1942, that first year, there were, of course, tremendous battles, but there were no battle deaths for Centerville and Appanoose County until the boys landed in North Africa round about November of 1942. Now, there were deaths, but the deaths were from air crashes, or a young man from Mystic fell under a train in New York City. There were no battle deaths then for a while. This death, that of Chase Sannon, whoops, was... I'll stay out here. I had a teacher in Wales, and when we said, well, it's raining, Miss Thomas, she'd say, you're not made of sugar, you won't melt. All right. So when Chase Fannon's death occurred, this is the son of E.W. Fannon, this town was devastated. I mean, it simply, I told you that two of the deaths that you're going to meet from the Second World War, there was such promise in their lives. They had shown such talent, such ability. Well, what about Chase? Chase was born in June 1919. He will die in an accident 3 days after his 23rd birthday. Chase Fannon in school was very popular. Everybody liked him. They said he was always smiling. He was very democratic. He wasn't a snob about anybody, even though his father was the superintendent of the schools. Chase Fannon was a terrific sports person, and it's in sport that he's going to make his mark. He was wonderful at tennis, he was wonderful at football, he was wonderful at basketball, but where he excelled was in golf. While he was still in high school, he had dethroned his father, who was the Iron Champion of Centerville for years and years and years. But his father had also been teaching him some of those little tricks that a good golfer knows. While he was still in high school, he became state golf champion, high school champion. And he went to Woodside, a cemetery in Des Moines, and on, see if I can get this right, because I'm not a golfer, and on a 46 hole, no, not 46, it was 36 hole course, his score was 146. Now that means nothing to me, but it wasn't equaled or passed for years and years and years. And everybody that saw Chase play golf said, this is a potential professional golfer. He graduated out of Centerville High School in 1937 and went to Northwestern University in Chicago. Immediately, the golf coaches there also picked up on his tremendous talent. He won the Big Ten Golf Championship. This was 1939, one of the biggest achievements a person can win. He was a medalist in the Western Golf Championships. And then, of course, the war came along. He enlisted, and he enlisted in naval aviation. He was sent to Fairfax Field in Kansas City. And on his third solo flight, witnesses said his plane was coming in over the river at Kansas City from the north. They said it was flying at 500 feet. Suddenly, the right wing dipped, and the whole plane switched at a 45-degree angle. There was an acceleration of the engine. Some witnesses insisted that something fell off the plane, and much later, a propeller was discovered, and the steel shaft to the propeller was broken, which suggests that that could have been right. He crashed into the flooded Missouri River about 75 feet from the shore. His plane couldn't be discovered for some time, and his body wasn't discovered for 1 month and 3 days. In that meantime, as devastated as the people in this community were, a lot of them had got into cars and gone down to Kansas City to help look for Chase. and to see what they could do to help. A memorial service without the body was held in the Presbyterian Church, which is where the Fannons were members. There was an honor guard, and I don't know how many of you came to John Talbot's funeral about 6 months ago. It's one of the most moving things you'll ever witness. These young men completely dressed in white, and how they handled the flag and every part of it, because of course John Talbot was another of the great heroes of the Second World War from this town. Chase's body was found by a fisherman 3.5 miles down the Missouri River. An ambulance brought the flag-draped body back to Centerville, and then the family and close friends requested a private burial here to inter the body. Everybody talked about his personality, what he was like, and one man said, "I'll remember Chase forever, lying out at the golf course. Always the same personality, whether it was before the game, during the game, or after the game," although he was pretty tense during the game. And then what did he do after the game? He bought a Coke for his caddy. He'd roll up his crumpled legs and lie there on the grass and just talk to friends. What a terrible loss for us that this young man should die 3 days after his 23rd birthday, and he isn't going to be the first. Centerville will have 109 deaths from World War II, 59 from World War I, and the Civil War, with a smaller population, 300. Thank you.